fundamental selection of the constitution of the fundamental rights are enshrined in the part 3 of the constitution of Article 20. The fundamental rights are enshrined in the part 2 of part 3 of the constitution of Article 20. Fundamental rights are there in the constitution. At present, there are only 6 fundamental rights in our constitution. It is very described as the normal part of India. Right to equality, Article 14, equality before law. Article 15, prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religious, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16, equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Article 18, abolition of the right to sexual, military and academy. Article right to freedom. Article 19, freedom of speech, expression of something. The fundamental rights are the fundamental rights consist in the part 3 of the constitution of Article 20. Fundamental consists in the part 3 of the constitution of Article 20. The fundamental rights are there in the constitution. At present, there are only 6 rights in the constitution. It is rightly described as the Mahatma Karta of India. Right to equality. Article 14. Article 14, equality before law. Article 2, with prohibition of discrimination on grounds of religious, religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16, equality of opportunity in public matters of public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Article 18, abolition of titles except in military and in academy. Article 12, freedom. Article 19, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, freedom of speech, and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, confession. Article 19, freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and confession. Freedom of speech, expression, association, assembly, movement of residence, and confession. Freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and confession. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, confession. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Article 20, protection in respect of conviction of offense. Article 21, protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21A, right of elementary education. Article 22, protection against arrest and detention in second classes. Right against exploitation. Article 23, prohibition of trafficking human beings forced to labor. Prohibition of trafficking human beings forced to labor. Article 4, prohibition of employment of children in factories, etc. Right to religion. Article 25, freedom of conscience and the free propagation of religion. Article 26, freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27, freedom from trainings and practice for promotion in religion. Article 28, freedom from attending religious instruction or worship in certain educational institutions. Cultural and educational rights. Article 29, protection of the language, script, and the cultural minorities. Article 30, right of minorities to establish an administrative education institution. Right to constitutional remedies. Article 32, it also individuals to seek injustice for the violation of their fundamental rights. It is the lengthiest of all the written constitution of the world. It is borrowed from the most close to the various countries. It is partly divided and partly flexible. It establishes a federal system of government. It within a single state. It provides an independent judiciary. It provides single citizenship. It provides the right to vote to all citizens up to 18 years of age without any discrimination. Point out the fundamental rights. Explain the writing of the Constitution of India. It is the lengthiest of all written constitutions in the world. Yes, borrowed from the all borrowed from the most of the portion of the various countries' constitutions. It is partly rigid and partly flexible. It establishes a federal government system. It makes India as a secular state. It provides an independent judiciary. It provides single citizenship. It provides the right to vote to all citizens of 18 years of age without any discrimination. Point on the fundamentals. The fundamental rights are ensured. The fundamental essential part 3 of the Constitution from Article 25. Fundamental rights are derived from the Constitution of India. At present, there are only 6 fundamental rights in our Constitution. It is described in the Magna Carta of India. The fundamental essential part 3 of the Constitution of India, from Article 12 to 34. Fundamental essential for the USA. Fundamental essential for the USA. At present, there are only 6 fundamental rights. It is described as the Magna Carta of India. It is described as the Magna Carta of India. Right to equality. Article 14. Equality before law. Article 15. Prohibition of discrimination of grounds, religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Article 17. Abolition of eligibility. Article 18. Abolition of delegates except limited academy. Article 14. Right to equality. Article 15. Prohibition of discrimination on grounds, race, religion, caste, sex, or place of birth. Article 16. Equality of opportunity in under public employment. Article 7. Abolition of Article 18. Abolition of titles except military and academy. Article 20. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Article 19. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and the profession. Article 20. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Article 20. Protection, respect, and conviction for offense. Protection, respect, and conviction for offense. Protection, respect, and conviction for offense. Article 9. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Article 20. Protection in respect for conviction for offense. Protection in respect of conviction for offense. Protection in respect for conviction for offense. Article 20. Protection in respect for conviction for offense. Article 20. Protection in respect for conviction for offense. Article 20. Protection in respect for conviction for offense. Article 21. Protection of life and personal liberty. 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 Article 21A. Right to elementary education. Article 21A. Right to elementary education. Article 21E. Right to elementary education. Article 22. Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Article 22. Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Article 22. Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Right against exploitation. Article 23. Prohibition of trafficking human beings and forced labor. Article 24. Prohibition of employment of children practices, etc. Article 28. Article 25. Freedom of conscience and free profession, practices, and propagation of religion. Article 26. freedom to manage religious affairs or religion, freedom from payments for taxes for promotion of any religion, or the freedom from attending religious institutions or worship in certain education institutions. Right to freedom, or the right freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Article 20. Protection and respect for conviction for offense. Article 21. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21A. Right to elementary education. Article 22. Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Right against expression. Article 23. Prohibition of artificial human beings and forced labor. Article 24. Prohibition of employment of children in factories, etc. Right to media. Article 25. Freedom of conscience and free professional practices and propaganda of religion. Article 26. Freedom to manage religious affairs. Article 27. Freedom from payment of taxes for promotion of any religion. Article 28. Freedom of attending religious instruction and worship in certain education institutions. Right to freedom. Article 20. Freedom of speech, expression, association, அப்புறம் movement, residence and profession. Article 20. Protection and respect for conviction for others. Article 20. Protection and respect for conviction for others. Article 21. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 28. Right to elementary education. Article 22. Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Freedom of speech, expression, association, assembly, movement, residence, profession. Article 20. Protection and respect for offense for the conviction for offense. Protection and respect for conviction for offense. Article 20. Protection and respect for conviction for offense. Article 20. Protection and respect for conviction for offense. Article 20. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21. Right to elementary education. Article 22. Protection against arrest and detention in cases. These legends are all written constitutional plus borrowed most are approaching from the context of various countries. This party flexible and the establish a friend system of government. It is elected, it provides an independent judiciary, it provides freedom to the chief, it provides the right to vote to voting on the needs of page and very discrimination. One out the fundamental rights. The fundamental machine is the part 3 of the constitution. Fundamental rights are derived from the constitution of USA at present. They are like 6 fundamental rights. It is likely described as the non-Karta of India. Right to equality. Article 40, equality before law. Article 50, prohibition of discrimination on grounds, religion, race, caste, sex, or class order. Article 16, equality of opportunity in matter of public employment. Is equality of the matter, equality of opportunity in matters of public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Article 18, abolition except in military and academy. It is the longest of all the Jewish constitutional provinces. It has borrowed most expression from the constitution of various countries. It is continuity and controversial. It establishes a federal system of government. It makes India a secular state. It provides independent judiciary. It provides single citizenship. It provides the right to vote to all citizens who 18 years of age without discrimination. Point out the fundamentals. The fundamental rights are issued in Part 3 of the Constitution from Article 12 to 35. Fundamental rights are derived from the Constitution of USA. At present, there are only 6 fundamental rights in our Constitution. It is suggested that some are right to equality, Article equality before law, Article 15. Right to description of grounds, religious, caste, sex, place of birth, or place of birth. Article 16. Equality of opportunity of remains of matters in non-public employment. Article 20. Abolition of untouchability. Article 19. Abolition of titles except military and academy. Right to freedom. Article 19. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement, residence and profession. Freedom of speech and expression, freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, assembly, association, movement, assembly, association, movement. Freedom of speech, expression, assembly, association, movement. Residence, profession. Article 20. Protection and respect of conviction for offence. Article 21. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21A. Right to elementary education. Right. Article 22. Protection against arrest and detention in certain cases. Article 8. Freedom of speech, expressions, assembly, association, movement, residence, and profession. Article 20. Protection in respect and conviction for offence. Protection in respect and conviction for offence. Article 15. Article 20. Protection in respect for offensive offence. Article 20. Protection in respect and conviction for offence. Protection in respect and conviction for offence. Article 21. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 12. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 22. Right to elementary education. Article 22. Protection of law against arrest and detention in certain cases. Article 19. Freedom of speech and expression, assembly, association, movement, residence and profession. Association and profession. Article 20. Protection in respect. Protection in respect. Protection in respect of conviction for offence. Protection of life and personal liberty. Article 21. Right to elementary education. Article 20. Protection of against arrest and detention certain cases. Article 20. Article 20. Right to elementary education. Protection against arrest and detention certain cases. Right to expression. Freedom to manage resources, freedom from payment of freedom from all of the order from 200 what is the price looking for the products all of the babies so got people from the immigrants mandalas the products of the traditional to it is legal like to get this work of the immigrants to be mandalas the products of traditional who request legal help to get this work for the rendered effective by the authorities. Prohibition. The province is subordinate court from acting beyond its judiciary. Jurisdiction. Sexual squashes an order issued by subordinate court by overstepping its jurisdiction. Law where the prevents usurpation of public rights through illegal manner. Mentioned the difference between fundamental rights and fundamental this one from the model of the even the government cannot take away of the public rights. This is the instruction to the government. So the force of it by a court of law. They are not considered the court of law. These are legal sanctions. These are moral and political sanctions. These rights are strengthened political democracy